of the item number 2. There are 3 proposed orders authorizing the Corporation Council to enter into and execute settlement orders in the following cases. The first case is Nicole Banks as independent administrator of the estate of Dexter Reed versus City of Chicago et al. Case number 24-CV-3271 in the amount of $1.25 million. We are joined this morning by Deputy Corporation Counsel Carolyn Franzik.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, council members.
Good morning, Carolyn.
On April 24th of 2024, plaintiff Nicole Banks, as independent administrator of the estate of Dexter Reed, sued the City of Chicago and 5 Chicago police officers in a federal Section 1983 civil rights action stemming from the March 21st, 2024 fatal officer-involved shooting of Dexter Reed.
Roll the windows down. Roll the window down. What are you doing? Roll this one down. Roll that one down too. Hey, don't roll the window up. Don't roll the window up. Do not roll the window up. Unlock the doors now. Unlock the doors now. Unlock the doors now. Open the door now. Open the door now. Open the door now.
Reed, a 26-year-old black man, was shot following a traffic stop by the defendant officers near the 3800 block of West Ferdinand in the Harrison Police District, which is the 11th District. The Department of Law recommends settling this entire matter by paying $1.25 million to plaintiff, inclusive of attorney's fees and costs. The Department of Law recommends this settlement due to the risk of legal and financial exposure based on an examination of federal and state case law that governs the claims at issue.
We'll start with Alderman Rodriguez Sanchez.
What would be the estimated cost of this settlement if it goes to trial? If we will settle, how much would the city could be liable for?
So the cost of defense in this case for the Monell claim, as well as the defense of the police officers, would probably amount to at least $5 million. Should there be a verdict against the city or the police officers on any of the federal claims, then the city would obviously have to pay the verdict as well as any plaintiff's attorney's fees that they would accrue in the case. And that could also be between $3 to $5 million.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Spizzato.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks, Caroline, for the report. If we won this, I'm guessing it would cost us $0.
Well, we'd still have to pay the cost of the attorneys that will be defending the lawsuit, but the verdict would be $0, correct?
We know it'll cost us if we pay somebody. I'm just guessing us if we do it, we handle it, it will cost us $0. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'd love to keep all of our cases in-house.
I know
yeah.
this is a big case and it's a challenge, but everybody wants to know what it's going to cost us. I say it costs us $0 if we try it. I have all the confidence in the world in your team, but I understand you have limited resources, but once again, everybody, this will cost us $0 if we try it. Well, I mean, you already get paid, so technically it's going to be $0, but.
Alderman LaSpada.
Very much. Sorry, computer. So the point that you raised just now in response to Alderman Spadasato feels like a fair one to follow up on. What would the estimate or range of attorney's fees look like for taking a case like this to trial?
So between the 2 firms that we would have to assign to this case, which one represents the officers and one represents the city on the Monell claims against it, I think a conservative estimate is at least $3 to $5 million to up through trial.
Once again, everybody, this will cost us $0 if we try it. Well, I mean, you already get paid, so technically it's going to be $0, but.
Vice Mayor Burnett,
Yeah,
sorry.
thank you, Madam Chairman. I saw the videotapes. And just looking at that, and not to rehash this, but from the views that we saw, I know that brother, that African-American officer walked up to the car over on Ferdinand in a highly gang infested area. And he walked up on the side of the guy's car. You know, I couldn't imagine what was going on in the young man's head. He shouldn't have had a gun. He shouldn't have did what he did. But if somebody would have walked up on my car over in that neighborhood, I don't know how I would have reacted. I'm just being real with you. And that's part of me and them amidst area. And there's a lot of shooting and killing and gang banging that goes on in that community. This 11th district, one of the highest crime districts in the city of Chicago. And you have different gangs on different corners, not on different corners in that community. So first thing I saw when I saw that African-American officer go up to the window in plain clothes, you know, I was like, wow, that's deep.
Put your window down, man. And hold this one down too. Hey, unlock it. Shots fired. I'm shot. I'm hit. I'm hit. I'm hit. I'm hit. I'm hit. Say loose. He's hit. My gun right here. Let me see him. Hey, you're good, Thomas. You're good. You're good, bro. You're good. No. Are you hit? Give me your suit. He's hit. Say loose. Tony. He's hit. My gun right here. Let me see your hand. Let me see him. Hey, you're good, Thomas. You're good. You're good, brother. You're good.
To me, it's a cost efficient for us on our part to settle this.
Alderman Lopez, followed by Alderman Cicho Lopez.
Thank you, Chairman, and good morning, members of the committee. You know, very few times leave me speechless in this room, but I have to say that this is one of those times. When I hear someone vocalize that they don't know if they would do anything different than what this young man did to try to take the lives of Chicago police officers if they were in that same situation, what the hell is going on in this room? Seriously. There are all kinds of arguments to be made, pros and cons, I get it. Some of you want to hide behind being fiscally responsible fiduciary representatives in order to settle this. But to sit here and say that we are going to give license to individuals to shoot officers when they are pulled over, 2 days after we had an officer just kill herself? And I also want to remind you, each and every one of you, the same year that this shooting happened, where officers pulled over an individual correctly, not 8 months later, we had another officer. After so many of the public and so many in this room vilified Officer St. Louis and everyone else for executing their legal authority to pull people over. We had another officer in November, Enrique Martinez. Say that name too. Shot and killed on the south side of Chicago because he was trying to appease the mob rule mentality in a traffic stop. He said 3 times, "Sir, stop reaching, stop reaching, stop reaching," and was killed anyway. And I bet the same people in this room would gladly pay his murderer a lawsuit settlement just as well as they'd pay this one today. You all should be ashamed of yourselves for what you are inspiring and allowing in the neighborhoods. I don't care if you don't like it. Sometimes the truth has to be told. And there is a moral imperative that is dying in this city, and that is you do not have the right to kill an officer because they stopped you from breaking the law.
Excuse me, ma'am,
Excuse
ma'am.
me. You had your chance. This is mine. I am
Ma'am.
not lying. Actually, the ones who are lying, ladies and gentlemen, in this room are the people who are saying that there was no shooting of an officer. We have an officer who nearly lost his hand because this young man took it upon himself to open fire. Yes, his loss is unfortunate, but he is the responsible party for it. You want to settle because you say it's cheaper? You are sending a message to every criminal, and you are also sending a message to every officer on the street that their lives do not matter anymore. Every time an officer has been killed in the line of duty, we put together a shirt that says, "We remember." Maybe we need to put together a shirt with every settlement that says, "We will always forget," because we like to forget what they are doing, what's going on the street, and to come up with these alternative narratives as to what's going on here is shameful. It's disgusting. This isn't about $1 million. This is about our moral compass. And it is way out of whack right now. Because what we should be teaching our children, teaching in our communities, just as we are pushing our officers to do constitutional policing, to do things with respect and regard to community, is also we should be teaching our own how to follow the law, how to act in a traffic stop. And those are not easy conversations, ladies and gentlemen, but those conversations are long, long overdue. And yes, I do know what it's like to represent some rough neighborhoods. I do know what it's like to represent communities like Back of the Yards where you have high gun violence. And if this has happened in my ward, I'd be saying the exact same thing. You do not have a right to fire on police officers doing their job. We need to vote no. We need to be clear and unequivocal in our moral authority that this is wrong.
Point of information.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. So we got to see the video. We don't get to see the videos here, right?
No.
And what I was referring to in that video.
Point of information.
All right. Well, I just wanted to say a black man came up to the kid's car in a rough neighborhood.
You said that already. That's not a point of
I wa-
information, Vice Mayor,
and I'm
please.
not saying that it's right to shoot a police officer, but
What's
I
your
Chairman,
point of
Vice Mayor's out of
information,
order.
Vice Mayor?
You know, for 14 years I've been here, and I've been hearing we need more black officers, we need more black officers, we need more black officers in black neighborhoods. And I tend to agree with that, 100%. Now we got a black officer pulling over a black guy, and we're saying the black offender thought the black officer was somebody trying to hurt him. So what is it? I mean, we want more black officers in black neighborhoods, or we don't? So we just have all white guys and Hispanic guys in black neighborhoods? I mean, so I don't get that one. And I brought this up many times before. We're talking about these stops. I represent the 16th district. We're 28 and a half square miles. We have 190 officers. The 15th district, well, I believe this was the 11th. I don't think it was the 15th, but this is my analogy. The 15th district is 3.5 square miles, and they have 220 officers. So roughly, we have in the 16th, 6 officers per square mile, and the 15th has 66 officers per square mile. So if the powers that be at CPD headquarters, if you're listening, let's do it. Let's do an experiment. Let's give the 16th district 66 officers square mile and the 15th 6 officers square mile. And I could guarantee you there will be less stops in the 15th district and more stops in the 16th.
This shooting also, Madam Chairman, caused the city to have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for the rehabilitation of Officer St. Louis. Not too long ago, we passed a law here in City Council saying that if anyone owes the City of Chicago money, we will recoup our losses from that person before we issue that settlement check. The question I have to the law department is this. Of the hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not almost $1 million, that we've spent on rehabilitation for Officer St. Louis and the other officers involved in the shooting, are we pursuing cost recovery measures against the Reed estate for what we have paid for the officers injured in his shooting of them?
The city has not filed any counterclaims against the Reed estate.
Why not?
The city hasn't done that. I'm not at
So
liberty to.
I'm asking you as the representative of the law department, we clearly know we have costs associated that he has forced us to incur because of opening fire on our employees, the City of Chicago police officers in this stop. Why are we not pursuing cost recovery against his estate before we issue this settlement check?
If the settlement check is issued, I will inquire with the Corporation Counsel whether or not that's something she wants to pursue.
So, Chairman, respectfully,
I didn't say a word.
no. I think that the law department needs to do that before, because that is trying to circumvent the law that we passed. Because to say, oh, we'll look at it after we write the check, doesn't make sense to me. You know we have costs associated with this. Our health benefits manager knows we have costs associated with this. Law department should be doing this on the front end, as is the intent and the spirit of the law that this council as a whole voted to pursue for cost recovery before settlements are issued. And I think that, Madam Chairman, before this even goes to a vote, we should have an answer from the law department as to whether or not they are actually going to pursue cost recovery against the Reed estate. And as such, I would make a motion to table this item until such an answer can be delivered to the Committee on Finance.
Thank you, Alderman Lopez.
And there was a motion to table until we can get an answer.
All right. We're going to take a vote on the motion made by Alderman Lopez. Would you repeat your motion, please? Motion to table, correct?
Correct. A motion to table the Dexter Reed Settlement until we have an answer from the law department as to whether or not they're going to pursue cost recovery measures.
The vote is 13 yeses and 16 noes. The motion fails. Alderman Quinn.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Carolyn, it hasn't been established yet in this conversation. Did Mr. Reed shoot first?
That is my understanding of the investigation.
I'm struggling with the conversation today, and I normally don't speak on these things at all. There's some overtone about almost a justification for the settlement. And I could tell you from a personal standpoint, I'm the grandson of a Chicago police officer that was shot in the line of duty. My father was 10 when he died. Didn't die exactly because of the shooting, but related a few years after. I don't want to be associated with any conversation that justifies the shooting of a Chicago police officer. This is a bad day for Chicago if this is the way the conversation is going to go. So I wanted to put that on the record publicly. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Quinn. Is there a motion to recommend approval of item number 2A? So moved by roll call, called by Alderman Riley. So we will take a roll call on Nicole Banks as independent administrator of the estate of Dexter Reed versus City of Chicago. The vote is 12 yeas and 15 nays. The item fails to pass the Committee on Finance.